What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger comic book review series, the show where I like to talk about all the comic books I've read very soon in the previous week. But for the next two episodes, I'm going to be taking all the books that I've read from January 2023 all the way through till August 2023, so that this way, in two episodes from now, the Dark Avenger comic book review will be returning to a weekly format. So the next two episodes are going to have a lot of books. This episode, all physical. Next episode, because I'm going to be going all the way to this week's books, which this week is the last week of August, some of the books will be digital. Some of the books will be physical. Mostly, I believe it will be physical. We'll have to wait and see for the next episode. But however, the first week of September, this show will be returning to a weekly format. I'm so excited. And because a lot of these books have been out for quite some time, we're going to kind of be doing, I'm going to be doing more of an overview. So this way we can get these two episodes out and be ready for the first week of September. So let's waste no time and get into all the books for this episode. And we're going to start with a very disappointing book, Locke and Key 15th Anniversary. So I wasn't going to get this. This was a $7.99 book. $7.99. I have the whole first trade paperback. I'm looking right at it. I bought most of Locke and Key. I believe the first four stories were all in trade paperback form, but I bought it for this. Only bad edition. So this book was supposed to show a worse ending, like something bad happens and the book ends. So you want to know what the only bad ending is? That page and this page. That's it. So basically, the bad ending is that something very unfortunate happens in the first issue of the book, and that's it. The series would just end with death. The end. The sketches, of course, it's always nice to have sketches in a book, but literally, I paid to see, like, they played it up that it was going to be some big alternate kind of bad ending for Locke and Key. So I'm like, okay, it's an alternate bad ending. Let's see what they had in mind. It was 2 pages. And it was one of the most lackluster bad endings I've ever seen. To just see 2 pages with very, very little dialogue and just the end. Good selling point, but man, I was very disappointed. So I wanted to throw these out there. I don't think I got the 3rd issue unless it comes this week, but the Black Demon Tales. Now, if you see me looking this way, it's because the computer's over there, and I want to make sure that I'm showing the title, the covers off. So I got this because of the Black Demon movie that came out, and y'all know how I like sharks. However, while this issue was really strong, great artwork, and I like the short story in here, this issue, I think the cover artwork basically says it all. The artwork was and the story kind of died for me a little bit in this issue. So I was very hesitant to pick up the 3rd issue. I guess I didn't. I know it's a 4-issue miniseries, so if you're interested, check it out. If not, then you won't. So another series that recently ended, and I'm going to be showing all 5 issues off of that, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Usagi Yojimbo. It's a crossover. It was 5 parts. This was my favorite mini series from TMNT. I read all the issues. I enjoyed it. If you like the crossover, they've done several crossovers with TMNT and Usagi Yojimbo, or Yojimbo, however you want to pronounce it. I really loved this series from start to finish. So if you'd like to check it out, I'm sure the trade will be coming out for it soon. For those of you Street Fighter fans who, want to see the Turtles crossover with Street Fighter, it has the Street Fighter art. Again, this is an okay crossover so far. Again, I feel like IDW is trying to make TMNT into a how do I put this? They're trying to take TMNT and make it their version of Fortnite, because recently we just got TMNT Stranger Things. And if there were 2 things that I wouldn't think went together, it'd be a Netflix series and TMNT, but it is. We're getting it. The Street Fighter one, I'm enjoying for Street Fighter. The Stranger Things one, I'm just picking up because it's TMNT. Honestly, I've not reviewed The Last Ronin. I still say to this day, Last Ronin is going to end up getting an ongoing series because people are loving it. And after the death, spoiler, of the final original turtle in Last Ronin, the first volume, we have 4 new turtles coming up, and April's the one that's raising them and training them. So there's a possibility maybe we'll get one. I know that they're talking about another Lost Ronin mini possibly coming soon. So if that's true, awesome. I'll review that issue by issue as it comes. This was a really nice special, what do you call it? I guess it's just considered a special. But we did get another annual, and that's TMNT Out of Time. Now, this is going to connect possibly to the main TMNT story, and that's why I feel like I got to talk about this. So Raphael from the future somehow travels back in time to present day New York and warns the turtles that Donnie is going to try to play God, and things are going to go terribly wrong. So Last Ronin is an alternate timeline to what's going on in the main Turtleverse, because Last Ronin is Michelangelo and he dies. This one is Raphael and he's still alive somehow, minus an arm. So he ends up escaping though. So now he's out in the main TMNT book somewhere out in the world, and he's warning Donnie. This artwork, man. I look at some of the faces and I'm like, really? Look at Donnie. But anyway, he's now out in the main TMNT universe, and he's warning Donnie not to play God. Why do I feel like the turtles have already crossed dimensions? There was turtles through time. Why do I feel like they're going to try to go back in time and possibly save Splinter? Speaking of the main turtle line, though, TMNT 140 and 141. It is now post Armageddon game. Casey is gone. Again, I did not read Armageddon game. There was a lot going on. There were a lot of miniseries going on. There was the main series going on, and stuff was going on in my IRL life. I did not get a chance to read it. When it comes out in those Ultimate Edition collector trades, I might review it that way. However, we're back. The Turtles. So basically, the division between Mutant Town and New York is now broken. Mutants and humans are coexisting together. So the Turtles are no longer special. They're no longer the law in Mutant Town. Now they just run a dojo and they're part of the civilians. Now, whereas all the mutants in Mutant Town, except for the Turtles and a few other choice people, were originally people turned into mutants. Now the Turtles have a chance to kind of meld into society and be one of the citizens of New York. And apparently Aliplex has separated from the Turtles. I don't know why, but something happened during the Armageddon games. And Aliplex has her own clan now, and it's with the little guys that you see in this cover. And Raph is trying to fix things with her. It's just not working out. So the little guys go missing. Somebody goes missing, and we get to see Leatherface again. Leatherhead, however, I said Leatherface. Leatherhead, not the horror guy. Leatherhead ends up working with somebody else. I won't spoil it because we saw it in the last page of this issue. But we also get to see, and I guess, again, this was a character that premiered a bit after I stopped reviewing comics. But we do get to see the other turtle who was created. We get to see a return of another character. Actually, it was a character that I think showed up right as I was ending my reviews. So it's kind of ironic that that character resurfaces as I start reviewing the books again. So I'm invested. I want to see what happens next, but I kind of want a little bit of the norm when it comes to the Turtles again. And it just feels like Mutant Town, ever since issue 101, when everything was trying, the Turtles were trying to, get society, we're part of society, and Mutant Town and the mutant bomb, and now everybody's dying left and right, apparently Casey included. Just feels weird. So hopefully we could fix that at some point. Grimm Fairy Tales 2023 swimsuit issue. Love it. The pinups in here are great. They're also part of the variant covers. A couple of stories, of course, done really well. And it's all teasers. One is for Bell Cursed, which I will be checking out. You got your pinups. I have the physical book, so I feel like I could show y'all a little bit of the awesome artwork that is in this book. But I'm not going to show you all of it. You should pick this book up yourself. But there's a teaser for Bell Cursed, first and only story in this book, and then the rest is all pinups. Really awesome stuff. I wish that they would make this into those oversized books where you could tear the pages out and they become posters, kind of like, you can't see it in this video, unfortunately. Let me fix the camera real quick. But I wouldn't mind having those as mini posters. So Marvel did a couple of What If Darks. Only two have caught my interest. One is What If Venom, What If Dark Venom, and that's if the Thing put the Venom costume on before Pete came to take it back. And wow, that was dark. Wasn't expecting what happened in this issue, but damn. And then What If Dark Spider-Gwen, but it's not the Spider-Gwen you think. It's the Gwen Stacy. Basically, Spider-Man ends up dying instead of Gwen. And she ends up finding a way to become a version of Spider-Gwen, but without the spider powers. Again, an interesting what if, but nothing that's really going to impact the main Marvel universe. Unlike Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion. Call back. No, this is Ultimate Invasion. This is the chromium cover. Issue 1 and issue 2. So basically, Ultimate Reed Richards goes back in time or goes off into the multiverse, finds a version of the Ultimate Universe, and he first of all, in the first issue, he goes to Miles and makes the offer for him to come back with him and to be that world's Spider-Man, to, basically for Miles to go home with him. And Miles turns him down. And he also warns Reed Richards he's leaving. And he said, I'm sure you would have killed me if you could have figured it out. And he said, I would if I could. So he kind of proved it. So he goes back and creates the Ultimate Universe in his vision. And he stops Peter Parker from becoming Spider-Man. He alters time a bit so that Howard Stark is Iron Man instead of Tony. And he's actually working with, I forgot what that other guy's name is. But you do get, and in this case, I'll accept it. You do get one page of charts. I think it's the very beginning, is it? No, it's in the middle. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn there was a chart that showed up to this point all the things that Ultimate Reed Richards. Yes. So it shows a little chart. One page and only one page of all the changes that Reed has done. So Hammond is deceased. Steve Rogers undefined. And then if you go all the way down, you're going to find Peter Parker inactive. So basically, he's molding the universe in his way, and where he is the grand leader of, or the grand poobah of the entire world. However, the future comes to attack, and the future has a bunch of Thors, a bunch of Captain Americas, Ant-Mans, Wasps, everybody, except they fail. And it turns out at the end of the issue, spoiler alert here, Howard Stark ends up shooting Ultimate Reed Richards once, and he restarted time once. And what happens is the time machine that they used was made by Reed Richards, by Howard Stark. So basically, he's asking Howard Stark to help him build the time machine to make sure that everything stays in his vision, instead of the Ultimates and the Ultimate Universe finding a way to stop him, and then the world goes back to the way it was, or the Ultimate Universe goes back to the way it was. And the question then is, who will Spider-Man be? And we are getting an Ultimate series after this, so I'm curious who Spider-Man's going to be, who Wolverine is going to be, because they're all shaded out, and I'm wondering why. But the mutants do exist. They are alive, so it will be interesting. Shout out to SteelWorks, issue number 3. Superman's in it. I love the cover. Again, SteelWorks is not exactly something that I'm a huge fan of, but because I'm buying everything, I do buy and collect everything Superman. I did grab it. The Superman family is in this issue. And I think the next issue is the last, if I'm not mistaken. But I will say there is a return of a character, and I'm not going to spoil that till the next issue. And that actually is what makes SteelWorks very intriguing for the next couple of issues, possibly. So I might be talking more in depth about it as we get back to the weekly format. Superboy Man of Tomorrow, we find out what happened to Connor. And we were correct. The Cosmeteers ended up only wanting to use Connor for a time. And then they basically want to erase Connor's S because everybody recognizes Superman's S. And they want the world to forget Connor and Superman and the S and make the universe look towards them as a symbol instead of Superboy. This issue had one very interesting thing, and I feel like, yes, this is Kalex talking to Superman. However, I feel like this is also a little bit of DC nodding that they understand. It's been 2 weeks, and Superman just figured out that Connor has been missing. And Kalex said, it took you 2 weeks to figure out that Connell went missing. I kind of gave him the device that he had throughout the series because he wanted to try to find his place in the universe. And clearly it took you 2 weeks to figure out where he was. And Superman all of a sudden recognizing and realizing, oh crap, I have been putting Connor in the back burner. He's now going to go try to help find Connor. Looking forward to the 5th issue. World's Finest, issue number 17, the grand finale of the Super Amazo, or whatever character it's called. So I love the ending. The Justice League, Metal Men, everyone, and even Amazo himself take out Super Amazo. But it's Metamorpho who lands the final blow and destroys Super Metamorpho, Super Amazo once and for all, and the world goes back to normal. I'm looking forward, however, though, to the Kingdom Come Superman and Batman in the next issue. Perfect timing for the weekly reviews. I'm looking forward to it. World's Finest has been a very, very, very strong series. Another really strong mini, and we are now at the halfway point. Superman Lost. This book had a twist at the end. So Superman is still suffering the day-to-day life. And Lois, in the previous issues, I said Lois seemed like she was losing, losing her cool. So anyway, sorry about that interruption. So Lois goes to Wonder Woman, like I said, for the lasso of truth to try to help Superman because he's having trouble what's the word I'm looking for? Getting back into humanity and readjusting to being home again. And through the lasso at the end, he kind of starts to realize, oh crap, I'm home. And you also see that the Green Lantern at the end of the last issue from Lost Sector ends up showing up, and they find a way to get Superman home. However, twist of fate, spoiler alert, she stops it in order to keep Superman because she knows that Superman is the only person right now. She doesn't want to be alone again. And if Superman goes back to Earth, she's going to be alone. So she finds a way to destroy it. So now Superman doesn't know that they found a way to get him home, possibly. Twist of fate, and I can't wait to see where that goes. But obviously we know Superman gets home. But I love how Lois is now trying to help him, trying to fix, the trauma, I guess, that Superman's gone through. Next up, we've got Adventures of Superman, John Kent, the grand finale, issue number 6. Twitter has had a field day with this issue. I have my own issues with it, but we'll get to that. Basically, the people on Twitter call this the hug that ruined the entire series. This series was so good. It had me interested. From issue 1 through 5, Tom Taylor, back in the Injustice universe. Superman, in the last issue, had people and was threatening to finally put an end to them all and start to take true control of, the world. And you have John trying to get to Superman as quick as he can, and he does. And then you finally think this is this whole series was based off of originally this was supposed to be about John going after Ultraman, the man who imprisoned him, the man who turned him into an adult because he trapped him for years. This was supposed to be the grand, not payback, but this was supposed to be John, kind of facing the man that ruined his life and finally confronting him and stopping him. By issue 2, John doesn't even lay really much of a hand on him. It's Superman from Injustice that kills him. So John doesn't get anything out of it. John just is there when it happens. But then you go, okay, that's fine, because we have the Injustice universe we're in now. So, we didn't get the Ultraman fight we wanted, but we could possibly get the Superman fight versus his son and maybe something. No. The ending is a big hug with John saying, you just need love. You just need to know you're doing wrong, and somebody has to, maybe this will help snap you out of it. And then here's the best cop-out. Cyborg shoots him with a gun that sends him back to his universe. So basically, John can't change anything, and the Injustice universe moves forward. So John doesn't make a difference, doesn't make an impact this entire series because of this one issue. And it has nothing to do with the hug. The hug was stupid, but it didn't ruin it. This issue ruined the entire series because it was over and nothing happened. Ultraman was stopped by Superman of the Injustice world in issue number 2. It was over in issue number 2, honestly. All this was John trapped in the Injustice universe for 3 issues just to get zapped back to his world magically, and that's it. There's no satisfaction by the last page of this issue. And what it does say at the end of this issue is, hey, wait a minute, don't leave just yet, because you're going to be seeing John again in Beast World beginning in November. Do I have faith in buying Beast World? Unless it involves more than just John? Nope. I was loving this series up until this issue. This issue was a cop-out, and it ruined the entire series, in my opinion. There was no point to it. 0. Ultraman was stopped by somebody else, and Injustice Superman continues on his path, just like we all know from the game. Nothing changed. No one was impacted. It didn't matter. All we got to find out was that John has electric blue Superman powers. We found that out during Lazarus Planet. Who cares? Like I said, Tom Taylor is an excellent writer, but the situations that DC puts him in. So let's talk about Night Terrors. This is First Blood. I know that as of the recording of this video, today is Wednesday, the last part is coming out. I understand, and I'm going to get there. However, I only read issue 1. I have 2, 3, 4, and when the last issue comes out, I probably will end up reading the last issue digitally. We can speak. However, the setup here with Insomniac as the big bad guy who's basically putting everyone in a nightmare dream state. This feels like a series that's like, okay, we don't have enough stories to tell by the end of the year, so let's take 2 months off and just tell this story, which will then lead into 2-part miniseries. This is Action Comics, 1 of 2. In this nightmare, the Superman family dreams that Cyborg Superman comes back and tries to assimilate them all into his body and thereby becoming the ultimate and only Superman. And it leaves off with him slowly assimilating the entire Superman family minus Superman. Why minus Superman? Why? Because Superman gets hit while he's flying home and realizes, this is the funny part, Superman realizes that he's in a nightmare because he's watching the entire world crumble around him. We get to meet a nightmare version that's going after Superman. Somehow Supergirl finds a way to collide with Superman in this nightmare realm, and together they try to find a way. They're going to try to find a way to get out of the nightmare realm. But for some reason, Aquaman and his family didn't get affected because they were underwater apparently when all this happened. So It's up to Batman and Deadman, which we found out in this issue, to save the world and to stop Insomniac. Will they do it? By the time you watch this, you'll probably know. But by the next episode, when I review the rest of Night Terrors, we'll all talk about and find out together. But with that, that is it for this review. We've got it all finished. All the physical books. So with that, I'm going to let you all go. I'm going to start on the next pile, and we should have the next review up, hopefully by the weekend, all ready for the first week of September's books. But till then, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Links to all the social medias in the description below. Feel free to join. If you'd like to leave a comment, feel free to leave a comment. Talk about any of the books I talked about here. If you want to talk about Night Terrors, go right ahead. Till next time, everybody, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see all of you really soon in the next review. Take care, everyone.